Michael, welcome to Trader Roundup post ICT live
Yeah.
stream. At least you know it's in you're here, buddy. So, look at me.
Hello, Michael.
Hello, sir.
Good morning, folks. How are you? Hope you're doing well.
We're doing fantastic. We're trying
Apologize.
to follow the assignment a little bit here, right? So
Yeah.
I
So
apologize.
there's
The market wasn't all that conducive for a lot cleaner price action, but it's actually one of the better lessons when it's like this because talking about it in kind of like in conceptual terms when it's not actually in the marketplace and I'm not actually calling it live when it's occurring, you can see the difficulties are considerable when it comes to relying on or anticipating or demanding, let's say it that way, certain measures of precision that usually it's pretty easy for us to find that. And when the market is decoupled, it causes a great deal of chaff. It causes confusion between the three averages. It takes a little bit more than just concepts. It takes experience. It takes um, due diligence on your part to be considering I'm not interested in touching this, but I'll observe it, I'll watch it, and some of the things I noted this morning while we were doing it, I said that I would not want to chase it long from where we were at. And whenever we have like a CPI, PPI number, a large reactionary news driver come into the marketplace, even if we're higher after open, I always expect that low or high that was formed right before the news, that's going to be a draw. And it just so happened that it agreed with something I've been teaching, which is the consequent encroachment of the regular trading hours opening range gap, laid right on top of it. So, granted, we didn't get a clean price run from very specific levels that were just done handsomely. We did get the draw correct. We did get the targeting of where the market would draw down into. We did get 70%, um, not 70%, the target that we look for, constant encroachment halfway point by 10 o'clock. Didn't happen this morning, but just shortly after 10 o'clock. So again, that goes in concert with everything that's going on, decoupled markets. All the averages are doing whatever they want to do. It's a Friday. They're still bombing. So consider this a very constructive learning day because it's one thing for me to say, this is what it's going to be a problem for you if the markets are decoupled. You won't be able to see it. So you saw it today. I was calling specific levels that I wanted to see perform a specific way, and they weren't as pristine. They weren't as perfect. And that is indicative of a market that says, come on in here and I can take your ass apart. Even if you're good, even if you know how to place good stop losses, even if you are consecutively and consistently profitable, days like today can take it from you. And on a Friday, it's the worst feeling in the world, especially if you have a win or if you had a negative, positive day. You don't want to go into a negative on a Friday because subconsciously, especially as a new trader, as a new student, that may have only taken a little bit of whatever you earned for the week, but it's going to be like that that splinter that you can't get out. It's a nuisance. It's a problem all weekend. You don't want that kind of stuff. You don't want that stuff in your head in the beginning. So I kind of leaned heavily on that this morning, trying to cultivate that mindset in a lot of you that are brand new, that you don't have to know what it's going to do on days like this. But for experience sake, let's just focus on the fact that it's most likely going to go down here and take that consequent encroachment because it's in agreement with the CPI lows. And we may not get that lower low at 260. We didn't get the lower low at 260. We got the CPI low. We got the consequent encroachment level. But it was just past 10 o'clock inside the first hour's dealing range. Then we went higher, cleared out the high. And now we just recently we had a 50 handle or so drop off in like 1 minute, just like that. I'm not touching it. I don't want anything to do with it. So you're welcome to participate in it today, but this is a market that's saying, nah, not today. Not today, ICT. So hopefully you guys learned something from reading it with a difficult market environment. So that way you can identify it when I am not doing it with you live. So that way you got a little bit of experience so they see what it looks like when you shouldn't touch it.
I love it. Keeping it going, keeping it flowing. Kelly Whiston, come on up here. Come on down. I totally need like that sound clip of The Price is Right. That'd be so funny. Kelly, you're up.
All right, I'm good. Like basically, I want to ask, what are we talking about? Like, is it how our week went or something like
Wait,
that? Or
if you don't know what we're talking about, then respectfully, we'll go to someone that does know what we're talking about. Tyler, well, you're up next, buddy.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not much, my friend. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Just just watching the markets like everybody else, and the lackluster performance that it's having here. So thought I'd hop on and chat it up with you guys.
Yeah, did you get a chance to check out the live stream at all? Or
Yeah, I was tuning in a little bit.
the markets are pretty yucky. But yeah, did you have any comments on even like anything that you're learning or any questions?
Yeah, I mean, just the recognizing when not to. He talks about that all the time. It's one of the biggest I think separators and experienced traders and novice traders, to where you sit down in front of a computer and it's like, okay, I have to trade, have to do something, have to work. And it's like the total opposite. Me and my boys talk about all the time. It's like, just because you're in front of the computer doesn't mean you need to trade. Like, we've been groomed to, like, our whole life say, like, work hard, you need to actively be doing something. But then trading's total opposite, to where it's like, you sit down, and if the trade's there, then you take it. If it's not, then that's your job for the day. So, just getting better at recognizing that and having your emotions in check, to where, it doesn't affect you day in and day out, to where you're not putting on trades. So, yeah, that's, I mean,
I
that's
love
basically
it.
my
That's
2
good.
cents about
That's
it.
good contribution to the conversation. I love it. Yeah, really. And here we are in another macro, and here we are in this continued consolidated profile, and we're just not doing much of anything. So, good observation, Tyler. I mean, that is what it is today. We got Wolf Pit Munch, Tyler.
If we could today,
Yes, sir.
anyone that's watched the live stream today, if they were, I guess, if they were dissatisfied, or if they felt like something should have happened, there should have been better a read. Did they feel frustration? Did they feel a sense of urgency that they want to participate, or did they feel indifferent? Did they feel like they wanted to chase a price run? I would like for them to be honest about it, especially the ones that are relatively new, because I want to be able to like target those types of that moment. I want to be able to go in and speak on that. It doesn't matter which way they felt about it, but I think it's important, because when you look at days like today, okay, and you say, okay, well, this guy's got 30 years experience. I'm surprised he didn't get a short on. I'm surprised he didn't do this. I mean, just because it could go to where I think it's going to go, and then placing a stop loss that makes sense. Like I pride myself on putting stop losses in a market that is highly probable in terms of protection, but not so high probability in terms of getting stagged and just taken out. So it has to make sense for me to put it in there, the trade, and also to define the risk. So what I want to hear from everybody today is, if they watch the stream, and hopefully those are the individuals that are coming up, not that they only have to do that, but if you did watch it, do you look at the price action while we were watching it live? Did you feel frustration? Did you feel confused? Did you feel like I was probably wrong about where it was going to go and you thought it was going to shoot up? Or you felt in line with, yeah, it was going to go there, and I'm glad that I said it in the stream? Like, what were you wrestling with today? Because these are the days that goes right into tilt, and you don't see it coming because you don't have the experience. You'll think, oh, it just tripped me out. Now it's going to go the other direction, and you go back and forth, and all of a sudden your account's blown.
I love that. Big thing. How did you feel overpriced today? That's a really good thing that almost anyone could answer. AM's got his hand up. I brought up a few other folks. Nathan, Rehab, and Matthew, we brought up to the conversation. We've heard from AM, Tyler, Wolf, and Pit Munch, but AM, you've got your hand up. Pretty please jump in here. I'm going to be looking towards Rehab, Nathan, and Matthew next.
Yeah, so I kind of mentioned it earlier when I was on, but my eye was on the TGIF 30% relative equal lows from Wednesday. And I know that in a normal condition, like if this was 2024, 2025, we would have gone down there and taken out those lows. But when I was watching it and I knew that it was being like very reluctant, the way it was wicking back, pulling back into the range, I knew that wouldn't happen. And that for me was really frustrating. And it's still something I'm trying to get used to in this environment of taking, like, not trying to trade to that extent, not trying to trade to where it would have gone a year ago when we're not in these conditions, and trading to kind of like that bare low hanging fruit. And it's still something I'm trying to get used to. It's really annoying. It frustrates me, and it's annoying in the way, not where I'm gonna go into tilt, but like I'm just, it just kind of pisses me off how it's so perfect. It looks so perfect, and then price just still doesn't want to do it. Um, it's just barely doing the minimum.
I like that. I mean, you're talking about being frustrated. I think that's very real. Um,
I actually appreciate the fact that he's mentioned the frustration because I
mhm.
get that a lot in email. I get a lot in private like messages on TradingView. All of these things, these are sentiments right now. How long do you think it's going to stay like this, Michael? How long do you think it's going to be like this? When is it going to be better market conditions? I wish I knew because I wouldn't even be doing live streaming. I would just say, I'll be back on this day and you'll know why then. I mean, you would be able to read between the lines. But this is what we were dealing with. These are the market environments that we're under. And you have to make a decision. Either you're going to take it and use it to your advantage and say, okay, I'm going to, the storm's coming, so I'm going to set my ships out at sea. And that's where you make good, strong sailors. You build yourself in strength and experience when it's hard. You don't get good at trading when it's easy. You get good at trading when it's hard. So that way you don't recognize, let me say it this way, you will begin to recognize when it's impossibilities cleverly disguised as opportunities. And that's the climate we're in right now. And being able to, and I'm thankful for the Lord to be able to give me the opportunity to come here and share that today, because these are the lessons that I wish I would have been taught when I was 20. I didn't have someone sitting down and saying, okay, this is what it looks like. This is when it looks like this, don't touch it. Even if it goes to your target. Some of you may think, well, it went to where he said it went to. You know, that angers me. That frustrates me. It feels like they stole an opportunity from me. If some of you think that way, put a one in because not all of you are going to come up here today and talk before we close it at noon. I'm going to leave at noon, by the way, Kit, so that way we know what's going on. But if you guys continue to go longer, that's your business. But noon, I'm going to check out.
No, we're going to go to noon with you, and then we'll do a trader roundup after 3 o'clock later on, as we typically do on a Friday, just to get some of the folks who are anticipating that. But yeah, we're here
Cool.
with you till noon, brother.
Cool. But I think that, feeling the frustration, feeling like you had an opportunity stolen from you, that's what causes tilt. Because you get so caught up in the emotion, the psychological tug of war of, just 5 minutes ago, I thought it was going to go higher. And then before that, I thought it was going to go lower. And I don't know what I'm doing. I'm getting confused and I'm getting frustrated, and you just want to lash out. And what do? You reach for the buy and sell button. Like that's going to save you. And the only thing it does is buries you deeper or removes you from the market because now you have to add more money or pay for your reset. And that's the clues that you should be picking up on, because if you're feeling all that right now in a controlled environment where you're not trading, shouldn't be trading, watching price action, and you see someone with a little bit more experience say, look, this is problematic. Based on the things I'm teaching, based on the things that I showcase, these are problematic right now. It doesn't mean the algorithm has changed. It doesn't mean that the market can't have a good run on Monday or next week. It just means right now, everything is not lined up where it makes high probability. It makes it low probability. And targets can still be hit in low probability conditions. It just means it's going to be difficult for you to hold on to it. And I don't want to be out here influencing any of you because some of you just don't want to have the discipline, and you're going to take whatever I say and you're going to enter a trade on that. And I'm trying very much to avoid hurting any of you by something I may say because I'm not in here. I'm not touching it. You saw what I did. That was all I've done. Now, you have to make the determination whether or not looking at price action like this on a day like this and the price action that's not clean. It's a lot of traffic right now. Okay. A lot of the ranges are sharing the same previous candles. And one or two candles have all the run. And then it goes right back to stagnant price action again. That is not what I'm teaching you to trade in. And as soon as you get that in your brain, ingrain that. Say, okay, this is not open lanes of traffic. I'm not worrying about someone cutting me off. Everybody is behind me, and it's a straight run to that next objective. You're not seeing that right now. You're looking at rush hour traffic on Christmas weekend, on Christmas Eve, and everybody's out here right now. And you can't drive safely like that. And you can't see price runs drive cleanly and precisely. There's a whole lot of congestion in price action right now. And by identifying that and being thankful that you can recognize it, that cancels out the positive will cancel out the negative feelings it should be. That's what you should be cultivating in your mindset. Say, okay, I'm glad I see this. I'm glad I can recognize this. I'm glad that I'm not getting caught off guard and letting my emotions dictate what I should or should not do. I'm not being enticed to take revenge out on this market. I'm not getting tripped up in the argument or the war scenario of I'm going to hang in here long enough until it gets to the real move and then I'm going to take it from them. Because that's all the things that go on in our mind. And then you end up blowing your account. So this is exactly how markets destroy traders. This is exactly how markets take the developing student or new trader out of the game before they even learn how to do it. And the industry, by far and large, does not do a good enough job because I think most of them aren't profitable and they don't know what they're doing. They don't teach you how to recognize problem areas because they're busy blowing their accounts and behind the scenes paying for hundreds of resets. So having someone sit out here in a live setting over live candlesticks telling you this is what you would like to see, this is what doesn't look so good, and the probabilities have shifted from probable to not so probable. Do you want to risk money where you have a greater chance of losing it? Or do you want to focus on times when you don't have these problems? And these are real world problems right now in trading. You have to make that determination. I have traders and students that still can be profitable in high resistance liquidity run conditions. They tell you, yeah, this is what I make. But the stress, the fatigue. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We can hear you fine. No problem. It's all good. We can hear you, buddy.
Okay. The idea of pushing in these environments, trying to get more because of frustration, because of the time invested in it, and not seeing it for the advantageous aspects of recognition of these things that create problematic trading. The algorithm is not changing. You can still see the elements are still there. It's just, it's a whole lot of chaff right now. That means it's intentional confusion. They'll run levels multiple times and stay inside of a range. That's fill. That's what's going on. That's not algorithmic. That is not buying and selling pressure. That is not your footprint and all these little things that talk about, oh, the buyers took over control here, and that's all horseshit. Okay, that's not what's going on. The point is, if you feel negative thoughts or feelings about watching price action like this and you walk away from it in frustration, you're actually cheating yourself of the proper learning experience that you should take away from it. You should be able to say, I see this, and I can see it now. It's recognizable. It's not a rattlesnake in tall grass as you're walking by and it comes out and springs and bites you. That's my point. It's something that you could recognize in advance, so that way you don't think to yourself, well, this is my only day off during the week. I have time to trade, and I haven't had a winning trade in a while. So yeah, let me go in here and just try to see if I can get a payout, or if I can just get to that threshold of getting to a funded account where I can now start making money. That's the trap. That's the mental net that we get tangled up in if we're not aware of what these things are doing in the marketplace. If price is showing you that it is going to bite you? Think about it. Look at the market today. Look at your 1 minute chart right now. That's tall grass. There's a lot of snakes in that tall grass. How confident are you that you can walk through that tall grass and not get bit? It's hard. And admitting that it's hard is not weakness. It doesn't mean that you have a subpar methodology, because everybody's looking at these same candlesticks. Everybody's dealing with the same things that's going on in the Middle East. We all have the same Trump that's out here tweeting shit. Okay, we all have that. The common denominators are those. But what you have to do is keep the focus on trading when it makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, and if it isn't in the column of high probability, there's no need to worry about it. Don't get disgruntled about what the price is doing, because you can't change it. And the only thing that does, it builds up over time. It's cumulative. You're going to build up a little bit of hostility. Oh, I wish I could have took a trade today. It went right where it was supposed to go. I should have did this. Don't go in that chart and say, I should have did this. I should have did that. No, that's not what you do with a day to day. A day like today, you say, I'm really thankful to see that the algorithm still took price to where it should have went. It was logical for it to go there. But it just so happens that the price was not permissible for me to go in with a very easy, low risk entry. That's it. That's what you write in your journal. That's how you sweet talk yourself in positive self-talk. Because if you do anything other than that, what you're doing is you're taking a little bit of frustration and you're tamping it down in your stomach, down in the pit. And then the weekend or something will come up in the weekend. You'll be frustrated and you can't wait to exact your revenge on Monday because you need a release on profitability trading, and you're going to trade something on Monday with that intention. And you're going to watch price action, you're going to do something, and you're going to carry that cumulative stress and frustration, and you're going to channel it right into an outlet that you think is going to give you a positive outcome. And that's why traders lose. That's how traders lose their account. That's how traders have mental fatigue, even if they are profitable, because they're operating in that mindset. I came here today, just had a gun pointed at me, okay, literally 12 minutes before I started the stream. Pulled everything up, mental clarity. Yep, this is what's going on. Called the draw on liquidity still. Nothing changed except for the fact that the probabilities were shifted from probable to low probability. Easy, because the process was what's focused on. Protocols. Now, if I didn't have protocols and I was 20 years old and that happened, I probably would have went to jail or shot. But if, say, I spared myself of all that and I got home, what would I have done as a young 20-year-old ICT? I would have went in here and over-leveraged something because I would have to exact revenge. I need to get a release. I need to have an orgasmic release of the stress that this dude put on me. But this helps me dial in. It helps me calibrate myself. Where am I focusing? Okay, what's the rules? It should do this. It shouldn't do that. This is what it should do. It should not do that. So it's like meditation. The market should cause a calming in you. It should not excite you to levels of euphoria or fear. When you look at the market under the things I'm teaching you, everything else can be a storm around you, but you're calm inside. The eye of the storm is inside you. You're calm. Everything else around you can be a nutcase scenario. But if you can't focus and resolve yourself to, this is what I'm only having to deal with, and this is what it's going to have to be like for me to participate. If it's not, I cannot break the rules. I cannot yield to the chaos and just get in there because it's uncomfortable sitting and waiting to see what happens. That's novice. That's novice perspective. That's neophyte perspective. Someone that is forging measures of responsibility, accountability, building a baseline of saying, I don't have to know all the answers, but I'm trusting these protocols and these processes because they keep me grounded. They keep me focused on the things that matter most. I'm not going to chase price. I'm not going to over leverage in these conditions. And I'm not demanding that I have to put on a trade. It has to make sense.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
It really was. Rehab. I got Rehab, Matthew, and Nathan. We're going to go one at a time. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Kit and Michael. I know the protocol. So I should say, my name's Jeremiah. I'm from Maryland. I'm 20 years old, and I've been trading ICT concepts since I've been trading in general since May of 2023.
Okay. Have you traded anything beyond ICT, or have you only traded ICT?
Well, at the time I started with smart money concepts, I'm doing quote unquote because
Well, that's
I didn't
still
know.
SMC is still ICT, and I'm
Yeah,
asking just
yeah.
because we do have a profile of trader that comes into Trader Roundup that when they're younger, at times they are what I would call a purist, meaning you've only encountered the market through SMC, ICT, through his concepts. And at times when we have those conversations, it's interesting to kind of pick their brain. But if you traded other concepts, then that's fine too. It's just good to know more or less where you're at. So anyway, you said you're
Yeah.
20. You've been trading.
Yes.
You're from Maryland. You've been trading for 3 years. SMC concepts. Pretty please go on.
Yep. I started with, yes, it was the same concepts. Like I was learning about fair value gaps, order blocks, all the
Right.
PD arrays,
Yeah.
but I didn't really understand how price worked until maybe 2024 when I went ahead and watched the 2022 mentorship.
Okay.
And then after that, I went to the 2024 mentorship around October, November range.
Has core content been part of any of that, or have you just focused purely on the mentorships?
I've gotten up to month 8.
Ooh. Okay. Good.
For
I
me,
like
it was
that. Good.
yeah, up to month 8, and then I think it's very valuable, the short-term trading and all those. And
7.
but
Short-term trading is 7, right?
7.
High
Yep.
probability is 8. Swing trading is 6. But yeah,
Yep.
anyway.
And that's when it started to get a little confusing especially because of the new stuff is more refined, or like for indices and everything. So I was starting to confuse myself trying to involve the core content.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good feedback. That's good feedback. How much of month 8 have you incorporated within your own schematic? And I say that, how important are standard deviations? How important is midnight?
I can, if I'm being totally honest,
does.
month 6 through 8, I really didn't use too much implementation.
Okay.
I really have a 2024 type of trading
Okay,
approach.
so you're pre-market, liquidity, minor, you're mapping minor and major and minor buy side and sell side. Yes, sir.
I'll just tell you my model.
Okay.
I had a time where I used pre-market, but now I just wait till 9:30. I wait for a sweep of a previous session liquidity pool, either pre-market from 7 to 9,
Okay.
the London or Asia.
So you're kind of applying 2026, really, right? Like you're kind of.
Yeah, a lot of.
I love that.
I like the opening range gap.
Love that. Love that.
Consequent encroachment. But I did have a few questions for you guys today.
I mean, I that's great. You're, I think, a really good person, and I hope that you have some good questions. So it's nice meeting you, bro.
Nice meeting you as well. I've been loving these Twitter spaces. I listen to them at the gym and everything. So first off, I have a technical question and I have psychology question. I hope you guys don't mind. So for technicals, I've had trouble in the last, I'd say 6 months determining when I should look for my entry, because I wait for the higher low to be put in the AM session, and then I'm using an IFEG or the first presented for value gap, or I use a silver bullet to trade to an opposing liquidity pool. So my question to you is, when we see 10 a.m. news, I know in the past you said we can wait for the 10 a.m. news, wait till after it and wait 15 minutes, but I've seen in the recent days that the move will occur before the 10 a.m. news, or even, it'll occur maybe at 9:35 or at the macro, and then the 10 a.m. news will just trade to your draw and liquidity. So I was wondering what you guys do to avoid that.
Michael has fallen off. I don't know. I've tried to get the speaker tag back to him. So We have a few technical difficulties here. X is undefeated. So hoping Michael maybe just has to power down, power up, or leave the space and come back. Sometimes it's like highlighting and like flipping up on the app, completely closing it.
Yeah.
There he is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're back. Undefeated, bro. Undefeated. We know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm thankful I came back in time to hear your question about timing and when you're taking your setups and whatnot. And before the news, usually you see the run. I think what you're noticing is what we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks now. We have an administration, whether you like him or don't like him. They found a little bit of a casino, and they know when they're going to post stuff, and somebody's positioning ahead of it. And I've always held that thought process because sometimes, in the past, over 30 some years, these reports have still always been there. But sometimes before the news, you've had these big explosions of price, and somebody knew something, and it's insider trading, and we can't do anything about it. You're going to see a lot of that type of stuff. You're going to see a lot of animation before the news drops, and you'll also see less follow through after the news comes in because they're positioning before the news. So, and when I talk about how you have to either come to terms with you're trading with far less leverage and be willing to take things based on stronger confluences, maybe ahead of the news, and because you're not positioned so heavy, you can hopefully catch the ride in that. But if you're not willing to do that, you're going to be frustrated in these market conditions. Like knowing what you're looking for is one thing, but the timing aspects, that's what they're messing up. I don't think it's going to stay like this, but I think for the near future, it will be like this. So you have to adapt. That means trade less leverage, take what you think. In other words, if you think it's going to go higher, don't demand that you have to wait for that specific time. Like the macros, they're strong, they're great, they're wonderful. But I'm taking trades before the macro now. I'm taking trades just past the macro because I've seen enough evidence to know that they're just messing with it. And they may manipulate it to a degree where it's just past the time or it gets a little bit early. And if I know what I'm looking for on a day unlike today, I will trade before the macro time. I have taken trades like that before years ago, and it's only based on seeing what goes on ahead of it, ahead of that news report. If there's a strong relative equal high, strong relative equal low, that it's basically hammering, saying, hey, look at me. I think I'm going to get hammered here. I'm not going to wait around to see in these type of conditions, see if I can get on board, because I probably won't. And the run will start happening right before everybody else gets the opportunity to do it. So to answer your question, short and succinctly, you're going to have to determine what you want to do with it. Everything that's going on right now, everybody's being challenged. No matter what discipline you're trading with, everybody's feeling it. Everybody has it. And I don't have a magic bullet to clear it all up for you. I'm learning in these environments just like all of you are. And I'm adapting with my own concepts based on the time aspect. I want precision. I want things to happen at a specific time, but we have a joker in there that has a vested interest in making lots of money, and his cronies are doing the same thing. So you're not going to stop them. You can't bring it down. You're not going to change it. So you have to change the way you are going to engage with price. And that might mean front run the best entry, but using a smaller time frame in another closely correlated model. You're not front running your model's entry, but you have to blend a little bit of other strategies to get you in before that one might. For instance, 10 o'clock silver bullet. Okay, well, what happens if it's creating a turtle soup? That silver bullet should propel price further in the direction of. Maybe you're not a turtle soup trader, but maybe you'll start becoming one now because of the conditions we're in. So it's kind of like that mindset is what I'm trying to suggest to you. But what's your psychological question?
That was actually the best answer I could have had for that. I had the feeling that maybe price action is a little bit shaky with what's going on with the politics, but I just didn't know if changing my approach during this time is something that I should do as a early trader 3 years in. I don't know if that's a smart thing to do, but I'll do some more back testing and see how often the first entry would work before the news. And when you say insider trading before news, are you including, let's say, a PMI report or is coming out or consumer sentiment? Are you saying
Everything.
Okay.
Everything.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that answer. And second thing, back in 2023, all the way up till I guess the end of 2023 until the start of 2025, I used to use Cameron's 30-second silver bullet model. Cameron was the same age as me. The problems you said he had sounded super similar to what I go through. So it resonated with me heavy. But I ended up giving up on it after over a year of using it and giving it a chance. But now I see Cameron's doing well. I was wondering, what's your new approach to telling him?
Just for transparency, he got blown out in crude oil. That big drop in crude oil that took him out. So he's refunding his account. That's something you guys can make jokes about all you want, but he's trying. He did his thing, and that move was just too much for him. So it is what it is. Just because he's my son, and DNA's there, the markets are going to take what they're going to take, and if you offer it on the altar, they're going to take it from you. So don't think that he's killing it right now. He actually got tilted going after something in crude oil, and it just took him away. It took his money.
So less on the profit side of it, more on the psychology side. What are some things that, as a young person in this time, you see people making money online, or you see people trading and doing good? What are some, like, your most uncommon advice? You've given a lot of advice in the past about this topic, but what are some things that you think we could work on a day-to-day to get better at these types of things and not fearing missing a single move?
Well, the journaling that's the whole central tenet to doing it, because that's navigation. That's navigation of troubled waters, knowing what you're focusing on, reminding yourself what you're doing it for, and not being toxic. Not well, I just mentioned it, Cameron. He is a gamer mentality kind of guy. He's very competitive. He's very and he's probably going to give me some shit now because I said it publicly, but it's good for him. It's good medicine, because once you release all that stuff and you say, okay, you prove to the world you're human too. You're human. There's nothing wrong with that. You're just starting. You're going to hurt yourself again a couple more times over the next 5 years. You're learning. But if you make it a case of it has to be perfect and if I fail any time while trying to build up, that's defeat. You're slowly killing yourself with a 1,000 cuts. Eventually, it's going to get to the point where you can't take it anymore, and you just don't want to trade. And that's what separates traders from dabblers. And by constantly, logging, journaling, positive self-talk, saying, okay, let's be realistic. What did I do to myself? What am I doing to myself? What will I do to myself on how I think? Because those actions are not spur of the moment type things. You've come up with an idea in the previous days and weeks leading up to that event. When you blew your account, it didn't happen because of that one day event. There's things that built up. And if you journal, you'll be able to see this is where I was struggling. And I wrote these annotations in there, and I was sweet talking myself and was trying to keep myself positive. But even in this little annotation here, you can see the venomous thing in there. I'm hiding my future self in a quagmire of doubt and miserable thinking and toxic thinking. So if you use your journal properly, you won't do those things, and it won't create this necessity for you to feel vindicated in the public's eye. It won't make you feel like you need to be vindicated in the presence of your family members and people that you told that you're a traitor. By managing all that stuff, your journal is the central point of navigation. Like, that's your GPS. It reminds you where you're at in proximity to where you started. So you have a baseline measurement of real progress, and you're not allowing negative in there. You're identifying them, but you're saying, I'm thankful I had this opportunity to learn how to experience this and find something to prevent it from happening in the future. That's not what we do in the beginning. That's not what's taught in this industry. We're never taught that. We're not taught that in school. Look at our grading system. Pass or fail. pass or fail. In trading, you're going to fail a lot in the beginning. And we equate that because we've been institutionalized through through the school process, at least in the Western society, and it sets you up for failure, 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 failure. It's not failure, it's progress. Every single time someone worked on a real medicine, not the bullshit they put out now, they have trial and error, trial and error. What were they working towards? A process till the end. Every science is the same thing, trial and error, trial and error. These things have to be viewed the same way when we're developing ourselves as traders. And your laboratory experiments are journaled and logged in that little spiral notebook or 3-ring binder, or if you're like me, spend some money on your journal. It'll be hard for you to not want to use it when you spend a good bit of money on it. Otherwise, you've wasted money and sits over and you won't touch it. When it's a little bit of money spent on it, not just some like a Mead notebook, you'll pour into it valuable perception and interests that you have in watching price action. Over time, they will build up and they will fortify you. But in the beginning, you don't even know why you're doing it because you haven't yet seen the benefits of having done so. So by constantly keeping yourself grounded in what you're aiming for, how often are you looking at your model and your goals? How many times are you doing that in a month? Every week you should be telling yourself, this was my goal when I started and this is where I'm at right now. How am I progressing? You're not tinkering with it, you're not adding to it and making it even loftier, but you're constantly reminding yourself, I'm working towards this goal. I may not be there, but I'm working towards it. I learned something that I didn't know last week or yesterday. And I feel empowered because now it didn't take me out of the game, but I've seen something in here now that I can recognize. So when it happens again, I'm not going to get caught off guard. So it's that positive aspect of saying, I did something incorrect. I didn't do something right. I didn't enter where I should have, or I didn't place my stop loss at the right place. But it gave me intel. It gave me something to use for the future. And that's the hard part in the beginning. You have to give yourself enough leeway and liberty and forgiveness to stay in it long enough to see where your shortcomings are so you can correct them and keep yourself calibrated in the right direction. And nobody does a real good job of doing that. I don't think I do it either, but I'm trying my best to try to bring those things to the forefront of your mind in these spaces.
Thank you for that. I'm gonna work on recentering myself to the goals and giving myself the 3 years. It feels like a million years as a 20-year-old, but for you, you're probably thinking 3 years is nothing compared to
It's
like
nothing.
34, 35. Or
if you were going after a master's degree, would you be complete right now in your third year?
I wouldn't be doing my undergraduate.
There you go.
Yeah.
So why would you expect this? This is the most difficult thing on the planet to overcome. You're up against the greediest people that have all the control mechanisms to make things pan out in their favor. And you have all these world geopolitical things. And things are expensive, so everybody's feeling the pinch at the cash register. And you have youth. You sound like a young guy. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Oh yeah, so you're at it. I mean, you think you got to go out and do everything fast. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't. Just settle down and grow rich slowly. You'll get there.
He literally just said he's like really resonates with Caleb, Michael. Like it's like you're talking to your son right now.
Yeah, when you were back in 2023, when you were ranting about Cameron, like the things he was going through, I was doing the same things. I was like, dang, he's talking to both of us right now. So those help me more than you know, for sure.
Well, I hope you guys appreciate honesty because I share things that none of you are entitled to know. Like
Agreed.
none of you are entitled to know these things. I could sit back and pretend and let you all think that he's going to be the next, big thing. And he's struggling because he wants to be the next big thing. And I keep having to remind him that just because you have the desire to do so, and you have the want to do so, and you have the youth and the energy to do so, and whatever you want to do, even if you can't find the ability to refund the account, if you show me that you calibrate yourself, I will fund you. I don't fund him. I want him to feel all these things because if he does it like this, he will care more about the decisions he makes in the future and try not to repeat these things. So I say it because I want you all to understand that we're all human. We all go through this stuff in the beginning. No one's exempt from it. Just because they're my kids, I'm not babying them. I'm not giving them the easy way. I'm putting their asses through it. And they always say, like, if we ever got on the like a podcast like this, you'd be like, what the fuck? Like this, what a piece of shit that you are. You should be able to do this and this and this and this and this for them. What would I be teaching them? What would I teach? They're already fucking rich. They don't have to worry about anything if something happens to me. They don't have anything to worry about. But for them to learn how to do this properly, there's no shortcuts. Just because you have my fucking last name, you came from my loins, doesn't mean that doesn't mean shit. You still got to earn it. You still got to work for it. You have to do this on your own steam. I'm not gonna pour myself into here. Follow Dad's signal today. Follow this. Follow it. Fuck that. I'm not gonna do it. And my oldest son got pissed off because I wouldn't do it. He actually stopped talking to me for a couple years because of that. You're the worst piece of shit father in the world. Okay. And then he grew up. Then he realized, oh shit, the world doesn't owe me anything, and Dad's actually doing it the right way. Right. Right. But when you're young, you think you know everything. And when you have a parent that's fucking rich, you think he's supposed to give it to you because you're his kid. Bullshit. Bullshit. It doesn't work like that. So just take that under advisement, because when you do get rich and you build yourself up and you do have children, this world teaches entitlement. They do. They teach it. It's ingrained in them. And when he brings his friends around and like, man, what the fuck? You know, this is crazy. And you should ask your dad for it. And they tried it when they were younger. And a couple of times I've embarrassed them in front of their friends. I said, why the fuck do I got to give my kid that? Why would I want to do that? Would you do that? Yeah, I would. No, you wouldn't. Not if you fucking love them. Not if you care about them. You want them to grow into a fucking strong man. You got to let them go through some shit. You got to let them do it. And that's the problem in this world. They've been coddled. The millennials, a lot of you guys, you're not prepared for this real shit. If you're not prepared for it. And I'm a rare bird. Like there's not a lot of me where I'm spending my fucking time encouraging you and calibrating the way you should be thinking. It's not something that people do. Now, if you paid somebody, a motivational coach, and they were worth listening to because they've done something in their life, then that's another way of doing it. But generally, people don't want to waste their fucking time on other people because generally, most of you aren't going to listen to me. I've had a lot of people come through the fold and say, well, he's an asshole. Okay. But that market still did what the fuck I said I was going to do. And that's all I said. That's my only claim to understanding. That's it. And I know how people think. And my kids are adjusting to that. Caleb, not Cameron, Caleb is the only one out of my boys who I was the hardest on. He got more ass beats than any of them added up. Add them all up. He got more of them. He was ornery as shit. But out of all my sons, I can rely on him most. He's the most grounded. He's the most dependable. He's the most one that's dialed in with this stuff. You think that's a fucking coincidence? You think that just happened because, the stars aligned? No. It was harder for him. And he recognized it. Shit, he hates asking for anything. He hates for anybody to know he has a need for something. Because the dad in me is, do you have something as an answer for this? Or is this an emergency waiting? I got it, Dad. I got it, Dad. And he'll do without. That's a fucking man. He doesn't complain to me. He doesn't say, man, this is some bullshit. Cameron will complain. Caden doesn't have real world experience yet like that. My daughter, fucking train wreck. Drama City. Cody had a rough patch in our relationship. Now he's a dad. He's finding himself. Being my child doesn't exempt them from real world shit. And I would be a terrible piece of shit of a fucking dad if I didn't let them experience that stuff. I would never let them be homeless. I would never let them fail entirely, but I don't save them from mistakes that they're making. And some of you want that done for you as a mentor teaching you. I can't spare you everything. I can't spare you any of that stuff. You're going to experience it. So what I do is I tell you, prepare for it, make allowances for it, and then you manage yourself like an adult, a functioning adult. Make plans, make adjustments. Make plans, make adjustments. You may have a curveball thrown at you. Some bullshit happens in the market, you get wiped out. Well, that's what happens. I got fucked up in 9/11. I couldn't get out of my fucking trade. I could not get out of the fucking trade. They wouldn't open the fucking market. And I knew every day that they didn't open it up, it was going to be fucking worse. And it was. Fucked me all up. I couldn't think straight. I learned from that. I didn't learn right away, but I learned. And you see everybody out here trying to tell you the fucking sugar gumdrop laced diabetic coma mentorships. It's all money, baby. Let's fucking go. We're going to make all this fucking money. They hate us because they ain't us. Hello. The whole fucking time, they're shitting bricks because if they only had to rely on their fucking trading and not their affiliate marketing bullshit, they'd be fucking broke. So they got to hype you up. I'm not a fucking hype man. I'm going to rear into your fucking ass and say straight up, you better man the fuck up and prepare yourself for some hard ass shit. It ain't going to be easy. But when you get it, there ain't a motherfucker out here that can take it from you. They can't tell you don't know anything because you can do it. And you're not going to fall victim to days like this. Look at that fucking market right now. Look at the fuck it's doing. They're going to run down there and take that fucking low that took the CPI out, and they're going to trade right to that 260. But they didn't want anybody in there. They don't want anybody in that because that's their target. And all of you want these real simple, small little stop losses because you want to go online and say, I only risked 3 points. How much time did you almost shit yourself while you're taking that trade? I'm not impressed by that. I'm very much appreciative of individuals that come forward and say, I'm struggling with this and it's a work in progress. That's honesty. And you don't see a lot of that right now. Everybody knows every fucking thing, but you only see it afterwards in hindsight. Walk us through it every day. Walk us through it. Let us walk in your shoes with you every day. Tell us what's going on. What are you dealing with? What stresses? Because that's the reality of this. You still have the people you have to work with and you go into your job. You still have to live with the person you're married to or living with. The fucking car that's got all kinds of problems. You have to deal with that still. It's a source of stress. But you still have to do what you have to do here. And you can't let any of that stuff or anyone rip you out of focus. You got to stay dialed in. And it's fucking hard. It's hard as shit. And believe me, as a dad, and I have means. I have limitless fucking means. And it's a struggle. Sometimes I'm crying. And I am fucking afraid, and I am embarrassed to say, I fucking weep because I want my fucking kids to get it together. Because my biggest fear is I'm laying on my deathbed and I'm looking at them, and the only thing they can do is maybe keep up with whatever I've done in the YouTube channel. Fuck that. It's peanut money. I don't even make any fucking real money there because they give up. That's what I'm afraid of. I don't want them to give up. If the Lord takes me out and I'm laying on my deathbed, I want to be able to look at my kids and at least have one of them standing in my shoes. Then I can lay my head down and say, okay, I'm good, because one of them will still have another of me. That's why I talk like this to all of you, because I'm talking to them. That's why it's genuine. That's why it's fucking real. All those videos on that YouTube fucking channel, they're not yours. They're my kids. And I don't give a fuck if anything is there that's offensive to you. I don't give a fuck if you don't like me. I don't give a fuck. Because I'm pouring me into my kids. And sometimes it's going to have words that's going to probably be offensive to you. I don't give a fuck. Because I need them to understand. I need them to understand. If I leave by any other way, it could have happened today. That fucking joker could have squeezed that fucking trigger and I would have been smoked. And you would have heard about it on the fucking news. That's okay. I'd be in heaven. But you're like, wow, what the fuck happened? And can you imagine all the conspiracies that would have started with that? They took him out the fucking Matrix. That's what would have happened. It was some joker that has no control of his own fucking life. And he's got all these problems, and he wanted to run into me because he's in a hurry, and I wasn't even an obstacle to him. But that's how you were trading, just like that motherfucker this morning, crazed up, pissed off. I gotta get something. It's gotta be my way. It's gotta be my outcome. Who the fuck are you, the man that has to be like that for you? The entitlement level is off the chain right now. If my daughter would have inclined herself to want to learn how to do this, I can tell you, I probably would have been bald. I probably would have lost all my fucking hair. Simple. Because she's emotional. She's one way over here, one way over there. She's all over the place. And it's probably a blessing by the Lord that she doesn't trade. But my boys, all of them have their own unique personalities. Caleb, I think right now, is the only one equipped to be able to do this long term. Even learning directly from me. Even with my best. My best doesn't protect them. They still fuck up. They feel like I can't lose. Over leverage. Smaller stop loss. I'm going to impress Dad. I saw what he did the other day. Dad, I saw what you did. It went right, almost straight to the tick. I want to do that. They'll do that, son. Well, what's he going to do? He's going to do that. 20% of his fucking count wasted in 3 days because he's trying to impress me. Impressing me is not fucking building your equity. Okay? That's why I don't high five you when you show me your fucking trades on X. Look at this, bro. Check this out. I'm using your concepts. All credit to ICT. I didn't put you in that fucking trade. Don't credit me. Who gives a fuck about me when you took that trade? You took it. All of the glory is yours. All the hardship and heartache is yours. That's the rule here. That's the rule. And even my own children try to bend on that rule. And they have a vested interest in trying to impress me because they're my offspring. So they're still caught up in the same bullshit you feel. But it's worse for them because I'm their dad. Imagine what's going on through their mind. I don't want to fail, Dad, because I would hate to make you feel like I can't do it. You were doing it, but you're doing extra shit now. You're going outside of what was defined for you as a plan. You start tinkering with shit when it's working. You do more than what's necessary. You over leverage, you put more on, you make good money, and you think it's not good enough for you. Motherfucker, you made $17,000 in 40 fucking minutes. Who the fuck ain't impressed by that? Everybody out there wants to fucking do that, but that's not enough for you. Why? I don't know. Right. So if you don't want the fucking why you're doing it, why would you go back in there and fucking risk more? Believe me, you would not want to be my fucking son because I put my foot in their fucking ass doing dumb shit. I'm not going to give them my motherfucking money so they can do dumb shit. That's twice as bad as just dedicating the mistakes in their own money. They got to learn this shit. I'm not Dr. Jekyll with them when they make a mistake. I'm Mr. Hyde. What the fuck did you do that for? You were fucking told this is exactly what you should not be doing. And what the fuck did you do? You went right back in there and did something stupid. $17,000. Give me $17,000 right now. Go to your fucking bank account and give me $17,000 right now. Oh, you can't do that? Right, because you just fucking lost it. You just gave it fucking back with interest. How's that fucking feel? How's that make you fucking feel? Because your ass should be puckering right now. You should be feeling uncomfortable right now. Because if you ain't feeling it, you're fucking brain dead. Nobody owes you shit. $17,000. Think about that, motherfucker. That's only $4,000 more than it cost me a month just for fucking utilities on my properties. And you just pissed it away because you want to impress. What the fuck? Look around on social media. It's the same shit. They're trading appreciation. That's the fucking model they're trading with. They're trading with fucking clout. They're not trading a fucking model. They're trading importance, significance. And you're all going to fucking be bankrupt doing that shit. Your fucking journal has to keep you calibrated. You remind yourself of the risks and the fucking dangers of not listening. And you cheerlead yourself. You don't go online and show everybody what the fuck you just did. You're inviting them into the equation where they took no risk and they have no business sharing in any of the fucking reward. Argue against me. Make a fucking argument against that, because you can't. And that's why everybody's fucking up. And in my own children, when they have something that works, they want to come out, especially Cameron. He wants to come out and flex on all you motherfuckers. And I told him, I said, can you imagine how the internet would love to hear about that? Yeah, I know, Dad. I know. Right. So now I gave it to him. You better fucking learn. You better fucking learn. Because this is how it happens. This is how you learn. You take it on the fucking chin. You say, you know what? I'll eat that. I got you. I won't ever do that again. I won't ever do that again. Right. That's why I did it the way I did. And that's why I talked to him the way I fucking talked to him. And I don't need a parenting fucking advice from somebody else. If you even think you're going to send me some shit, go fuck yourself right now. Fuck yourself deep, long, and dry. Because I don't give a fuck about anybody else's opinion about how I'm raising my fucking kids. None of you are in my position, and they're not your fucking responsibility. They're all fucking adults. So, yes, you're actually taught the better way publicly, the more politically correct way. You all say, oh, I wish I was your son. No, you don't. The fuck you do? You don't know shit. I tear into their fucking ass. Think about it.
11:50. I like the time.
Who's offended?
What's that?
Who's offended? I want to know who's offended.
Nobody. 11:50 again. I like the time. Market Oracle's got his hand up real quick. Market Oracle. Matthew, I had reserved a spot for here after rehab. Yeah, no, Matthew, you were up next. We brought you up next. I see you, Sarmat and Market Oracle. We're going to be wrapping up here in the next few. This macro, wow, I'll be curious to see what we get out of this one going
Hey,
into
Kip,
the noon. Yes, sir.
we can roll till 12:30.
Okay.
I went on a little bit of a rant. I stole somebody's time. And I apologize in advance.
It's all good. I mean, that's awesome that we can stay longer. That's awesome. Very cool. We'd have a couple folks with their hands up. Matthew, you're up next, buddy. Jump in.
What's up, Bill? You hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you loud and clear.
For sure. But yeah, my name is Matthew. I'm 28. I live about an hour from Chicago, Illinois. And yeah, I just want to circle back to the stuff Rehab was talking about, like before the rant. Not saying that the rant wasn't appreciated, but yeah, just he had a good head on his shoulders at 20 years old. You know, a lot of people.
Okay, so wait, real quick. You're 28.
Mhm.
You live in Chicago. How
Yeah.
long have you been trading, and how do you engage with price, brother?
I've been trading since 2019. I started with Michael's favorite group, IML.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I did that. I was in that group for a year, and then somebody in there left, and then told me about ICT, and that's how I found out. So, and how do I engage with price? I engage with the opening range. Specifically just 9:30 to 11 a.m. Eastern time. But if I'm not in anything by 10:30, I'm usually not taking anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have like a question? Now I feel like we kind of know a
Yeah,
little bit more about you.
yeah,
So, I mean, that's just kind of important for the audience, brother.
yeah, for sure. My question, I guess, I'll go back to what we were talking about, I guess, earlier, with the frustration of watching the markets and whether you're in it or whether you're in it and lost or not in it, and just frustrated. Personally, was feeling that this week, on Thursday, or yeah, yesterday. Um, Yesterday morning when I was watching the opening range, and I saw a fair value gap. If anybody's watching the chart, they can go look. It's at the fair value gap was on Wednesday, the 9:47 a.m. candle. I was watching it, marked it out live, and I didn't take it. And then everything after that, I was wanting to get in because I missed it, but the risk, I didn't know where to put my stop because the risk was just going to be too much. Um, and so I ended up watching it run to the lows that I had marked out um, before the open, and I recorded myself on OBS, like verbally saying out loud, like I feel, and then the first word that came to my head was frustrated, and yeah, I just
May I
kind
ask a
of,
question?
yeah, go ahead.
When you say um, things like, I wanted to get in there, but the risk was too much, you sound like a man, and I want you to be honest right now. When you
Mm.
say those words, and all these people are listening to you, and all the people that's going to listen to the recording, does that make you feel a certain kind of way saying it's too much risk, like it feels like a weakness saying that?
No, it's just, I mean, because I've been doing this for 7 years, listening to you and all your spaces and lectures for six. And I just understand that, you know, um, yeah, it doesn't make me any weaker. It just, I understand my, what I am able to risk, what I'm comfortable losing.
In the
I've been
beginning,
through, yeah.
in the beginning when you first started, were you able to see something that would be considered too much risk? Do you ever remember looking at a trade idea and think, for me to take this, the risk is too much? Did you think like that when you first started?
Mm, I don't, no, I don't think so, no.
What I'm trying to tap into is, I love your response now is that, no, you don't view it as weakness.
Mm,
That's sound money management. But in the beginning, men in general, we think of saying it's too much risk to take that trade. Well, you're weak. That's not weak. That's a strong money manager there. You have defined parameters that you don't want to go by or go beyond and breach. So I just want to use that because there's somebody is listening and they feel like that. They feel like, well, I should be able to take that trade no matter what. No, because if it doesn't fit your risk model, how much you're willing to assume in terms of risk, then you shouldn't take it. And that's actually the correct way of viewing it. There's going to be
mm,
lots of setups that come, and they may not make sense to do it. And being frustrated about not being able to take the trade because of the risk being too big. There's the 260, by the way, on M&Q. The uh, the perception that we have as men is skewed. We feel like we're supposed to be gladiators in every aspect. And I'm trying to remind all of you that if you're going to be doing this, there's a lot of things you have to put down in the beginning. But putting them down allows you to get better, so that we can pick them back up and carry heavier things. But I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I just wanted to use that as a means of bringing a point of discussion up.
mhm. Yeah, no. It was just, yeah, it was just, I've been just struggling with that for a while, with the frustration of, I guess, of missing a move or not participating, or I guess um, it's like it comes and it goes, I guess, still. but there are times where I'm okay with it, and then other
Do you
times
have,
where
I mean, like we talk about it and there's commonly within the space like a 3 confluence model. Do you have a number of confluences that you're requiring for you to engage with the marketplace?
no, not, I guess not a specific number.
Okay, well, maybe that's something you could look at in
Yeah.
incorporating into your model, is saying you're utilizing specific concepts, very specific concepts, and you need specific specific concepts to line up before there is some form of trigger.
Yeah, like what would you say a good number
I
would
mean,
be? Like a couple,
I
two,
think
three? I
it
guess it's
depends. It depends
personal.
on you and
Yeah.
your model and what you're looking for. But I mean, I think 3 is pretty common. But like I said, like midnight, a macro, and an octant, maybe. You would need those 3 things. If you don't have all 3 things within time and or price and maybe directionality or the idea or the trade plan, then you're just like, nope, can't do it. So that can save you a lot of problems just by insisting that you kind of utilize a few more ingredients when you bake this cake, especially in these market conditions. These market conditions, if you're going off of one single concept and you're choosing to fuck around to find out because your model says, hey, well, that's my concept, that's what I trade. Again, the idea of utilizing layered confluences. Michael does that naturally because there's so many and it's so in depth, and it's easy for someone with experience and knowledge to be able to communicate at times this. It's almost like a cake because a cake has ingredients. You need to be able to cook this thing and it needs to be able to have more than one ingredient for your success and consistency. And in these conditions, it's very important that you have a few confluences, right? The RTH gap logic, that's a huge thing. Going over what you're learning in 2026, the first hour, that has to do with range logic, incorporating things that you've learned through high probability trading like midnight, your IPTA true day open, your IPTA true day close, understanding the importance of close of the bond market within and where and how that affects other markets, right? Now, not to complicate it, it's just simply requiring or highlighting very specific variables. Those variables then become confluences. Okay?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, and it's typically usually for me it's like a fair value gap on a quadrant, and then like an inversion fair value gap, like stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, I like that. And requiring a previous day's low or a previous day's high, or some form of liquidity within that. All of those are good targets. Listen, buddy, we got a bunch of folks here.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate
Do you have anything else just in wrapping things up? I'm not trying to cut you off. I
No,
just want to let you know, again, we got folks here.
For sure.
You sound like the chillest guy that's being frustrated there. Let me just say that.
Hey, man,
I don't hear any frustration in you.
I'll just say I work overnights, so I'm kind of coming off a 12-hour overnight shift, so it's kind of it's a little
respect, bro. I respect. You're saying you're tired. You've had a long day, is what you're saying. Respect.
I'd love to come back on and talk some more some other time. And yeah, again, appreciate you having me on. And yeah, thanks.
Rock on, buddy. Thanks for coming on, and mad respect. You just got done with a long day of work. Appreciate you being here. So, Sarmad, you got your hand up, buddy. You're up next. Sarmad.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Is it choppy?
Not really.
Oh, that's good. All right, because my Wi-Fi wasn't working, so I had to go off the Wi-Fi. And
No,
I'm just
I feel you. You'd be shocked. At times, I'm like walking, practically hanging out the window sometimes, like just trying to get service, because X is undefeated.
All right. So my question. Do I have to?
Yes, please. You understand the protocol. Thank you, Sarmad. Appreciate it.
All right. I'm 36. I'm a rail car mechanic. at the moment. Work at a rail yard, whatever. You know, I live just 30 minutes outside of Toronto, Canada. This country is going to shit, like way worse than yours, I guess. Anyway, so that's kind of a little bit of my background.
Okay, you said you were 36. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct.
All right, I like the number. And how long have you been trading again?
This is my first year of trading live, probably like the worst year for me to start going into live trading. Like
Okay.
the first few years before this, I was just kind of demoing and trying to find my model. My model is the 2022 model. I use the first presented fair value gap. I look at I mark down the new day opening gaps, the new week opening gaps.
I love it.
I also look at the price at 8:30 open. I
Okay, I like
just kind
that.
of write that down.
Very
And
classic, very classic ICT 8:30 price. Do you follow midnight as well by chance?
I don't like, but
Okay.
today I marked it down and I'm like, oh, I actually fucking hit it. And that's like a very easy, like,
It's a solid. I can tell you,
yeah, it's
midnight's a
very easy.
real solid thing to keep on your chart pretty much all the time if you trade ICT concepts, my friend. Just as
Okay.
pro tip, from one trader to another.
Yeah, it's just like today I seen it today and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna kind of back test that. How many times does it go to that price? The new day and new week opening gap, I'm like having a very tough time with, but I do mark it down and I'm just like, okay,
Well,
it's there.
what's your
And
tough time with it? I mean, it's a Sunday open or the daily open. What's tough about that?
the daily gaps that it stays open, and I'm like, it's not going there. It's not even sometimes not even going to the 50% of the level of it, and it just kind of takes off, like and it's kind of that's a little difficult for me. I did
So
have a
you're
good
still
trade
so you're
yesterday.
still learning how to engage with a gap. Sometimes a gap is momentum, right? Those
Right.
are we know that. We know that. I mean, those breakaway fair value gaps, we learned that core content month 4 when we really start looking at why potentially some inefficiency might be potentially left open, right?
And do they? The question is, can they be left open for a long period of time, or is there a way to gauge? Okay, like maybe
There
today
is
could be the
that's a
day. Like,
question. That's a very good question, and there are statistical probabilities with things like your RTH gap. I mean, Michael mentioned that 70% today, I think, in the live stream, potentially coming back. And it depends on the date, depends on the weekly profile, but there are actual statistical probabilities that you can align towards with some of these gaps. And quite frankly, that is a study that you can, identify and, study yourself, right? How often does a gap that is less than 50%, how often is it left open? And then for how long, right? And 50%, is that really the where we should be looking at? And based on what Michael teaches, that's going to be on you, right?
To
right,
answer your
right.
question, they can stay open. Nothing says that they have to be filled in or traded to immediately. But when they don't do those types of things, that's in and itself a signature, indicating that it has somewhere it wants to be. And if it's staying open, then you have to shift your attention away from that gap. And what is it going in the other direction for?
Well,
Okay, I see that. I see
that was
that because I
so
was kind of
saucy, Sarmad.
aiming.
That was so saucy. Real time one-on-one mentorship for you right there. That was
Yeah, because I
very
was kind of
saucy if you pay
aiming
attention.
for that gap, at least the sell side liquidity on the NAS yesterday. It didn't hit it. It just hit a minor sell side, and then I'm like, you know what? It's in that 50% range of that wick that was created on just a few days back, like I think Wednesday or something. There's like that wake. I'm like, it's not going past it in speed. I'm gonna close this fucking trade. I walked away, came back, and it used my other levels, and it kind of reverted. And then I saw your live stream, and I'm like, shit, like you caught that, and that was pretty cool to see that. So I guess if the gap stays open, you gotta kind of have to wait. Like, what is it trying to do? Maybe it's going the other direction for recent.
You
And
watched
then
my live stream, if you recall. I also threw.
after
Okay,
I
well, I
walked
threw
away
a
and I
fib.
walked away.
I threw a fib on the previous day, right? So we're really just measuring the previous day's range, and when we stayed above within the top quarter, then that is a signature that we learn within order block theory, that the top third, top quarter, or bottom third, bottom quarter of a range, if there's no willingness for price to for order flow to go greater than those values, then we have that signature of anticipating the said direction, long or short, which yesterday was classic.
It gets back to
Thank
why I
you
say
so much.
you're very welcome. The premise behind not being in a rush to get to actually taking trades is because you don't know what you're doing with these PD arrays in the beginning. Even if you watch videos, if you think you understand it, you don't understand it until it's in your hands. And then what you're describing is, as a first year trader with it, you're frustrated why it doesn't go back to these gaps. Just because they form doesn't mean that they're going to have to always go there. And what you'll learn in your first year is the cause and effect of, yeah, there's a gap. It formed that it's open, but it's moving away from it. So if it's trying to get away from that gap and has no immediate interest in getting back to it, it's a strong indication that it wants to go somewhere else, the opposite direction. And that kind of like allows you to shift your focus. Because if you were, say you were using it for some bearish idea and it's not supporting that, well, then that clearly should allow you to change gears and abandon your pursuit of lower prices, and then allow evidence to suggest to you in price action that it may go higher. And that was a very, very difficult thing for me to do when I was young, because once I had an opinion, no one could talk me out of it. Like, I'm very stubborn. I'm very one-sided. They make roads about me one way. And this is something that you may be encountering, and you're going to have to grind through that and just give yourself a little bit more flexibility and start looking for things to indicate that your interpretation of what you expect to see may be off, and then allow the other side of the expression into the analysis. And it'll help you be able to transition. It's a very difficult skill set to navigate from being bearish to bullish and admitting that you're wrong and letting the market tell you you're wrong and not be offended and pout about it while missing the next setup. Because I did a lot of that very thing in the beginning. Like I would wrestle with it. No, I'm right. And the whole time I could have been making money. And if I took a loss, I could have got it back too. So.
Michael, I think you've done a great job through, and I reference core content month 5 constantly, but the way you've utilized average daily ranges, average weekly ranges, average monthly ranges, and where and how you've utilized that data to be what's driving your decision. And I appreciate what you're saying, because we do really come to the charts with, at times, that term bias. And the only thing that really breaks bias is experience, or in this case, data. And if you can present to yourself or convince yourself that the data is suggesting X and you are thinking, or you're coming to the chart with Y, then the only thing that's really going to convince you otherwise is then the data. And I hear you saying that, Michael, and I think young, inexperienced traders, really, that's what they're looking for with experience is acquiring that data and that information to where they can act on it in times like these.
Perfectly said. If you're against letting your first couple years teach you and allow you and afford you the ability to collect information, experiences, and data, that's the experience that you lean on when you've been doing it for a long period of time. I'm not discovering something new when I'm looking at price action. I'm leaning on things that hurt me in the past by not doing something I'm feeling inspired to do because of experience. In the beginning, we falsely attribute our desire to want to do it as experience enough to know better when we don't know what we're supposed to know. And you have to allow yourself to get that experience, that collect that data of, this is how many times this is formed, this is how many times it does this, and this is how many times it's failed. If it shows profitability in following that logic, then always side on that until proven otherwise. And in the beginning, we want it black and white. We want it just, this is the way it's binary. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And you can't do that in the beginning. you eventually get to that as a model and approach to trading, but that is affording all kinds of experience that you don't have yet. And you can't get a shortcut around that. And people sell mentorships and lectures and stuff like that all the time. They write books and promise you that, but I can promise you this, there is absolutely no shortcut to it. You got to go through it slow and steady and get your own experience. And that data that you trust on what you're executing on or what you stay away from because of your own experiences, that's going to serve you better than any books that I ever write or anybody else's stuff.
And that adds to the power of community, right? That adds to the power of experience. That adds to the power of a mastermind where different folks can come in and they could provide their anecdotal experience. And then you, the trader, potentially, you, the individual, you, the person, can draw on someone else's experience and utilize it for your own. And I mean, that's kind of a quote unquote, that's the dad vibe. That's the parental vibe, is someone coming in there saying, we've had the experience and we realize that you quite frankly don't, and you don't know what you don't know. And when you're double someone's age, and in this room, Michael is twice some of your age. I myself am twice some of your age. I know I have a younger voice and I'm jovial and all of these things and it's fun, but I'm old enough to be yo daddy. A lot of y'all. Right. And that means that experience can really translate in these topics, in these discussions. You don't know what you don't know. And when someone's willing to spend the time and energy with you to help you understand what you don't know, then, you know, there's catalyst there. There's room to learn. And that's what makes it beautiful. That's what makes this conversation beautiful. And that's what makes the community really, really strong and enjoyable. These conversations are fun. 12-14. Look at that swing low. Tagged Michael's target like literally to a T. Fascinating. And this range is just yucky. Got a little bit more. Market Oracle's been patiently waiting. Sarmad, great comments, great conversation. Thank you. Rehab, great conversation, great words, great thoughts. Very much enjoying today's conversation. Market Oracle, you have been patiently waiting, and you've also been a very good participant within Trader Roundup. So I invite you to the discussion. And, you know, what do you got to add, brother?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
I have a couple of things to add to today. But first of all, I would begin with that I am really glad that Michael is okay right now and he's doing well.
Yeah,
And
I don't want to glance over all of that either. But go ahead.
yeah, but next time if anyone sees him in public, I am 100% sure that he's trapped. So he's trapped really. So don't fuck with him next time. And I want to add one thing regarding the today's live stream by Michael. So during the live stream, when he tagged the wick through a rectangle, and I was like, oh yes, the wicks are the gaps. So what I did was took the rectangle and placed it on the wick of 9:30 a.m. and it was really exciting to see how the price was reacting to it. So what I did was went back a couple of days, did it make the tag the wick of 9:30 and see how price was reacting to it, and this was beautiful, unlike any other thing I have ever seen. And I am going to do a topical study on that this weekend. And Michael, your concepts are amazing, and these things are really algorithmic. I have figured that out for quite some time now, but to see it in the charts all over again, it is just beautiful. And one more thing about Event Horizon. We were discussing Event Horizon with Pipmunch, and comfortably and quite frankly, I thought about, okay, we are applying Event Horizon between two levels, two sell side liquidity, two levels of liquidity where the market wants to go. What if we apply the octant to that? So we don't only see not only see the half of that gap, but we see 8 levels.
Ooh, cooking with some chicken grease here.
Yes,
I
sir.
like that. I like that
I
idea.
I did it for a few days. Not a much study about it. It was during this trader roundup. So this is exciting. I am gonna say this. Do a topical study on that as will I during this weekend, and you might get some really interesting results of that.
Intent, nudge, nudge.
You gotta love the class. You gotta love the classroom. That's awesome. Anything you want to add on that, Michael, by chance? Or just leave the hint nudge nudge there? Might invite Pit Munch to the conversation with some of her notes. I love that. I love the classroom coming in.
I like the discoveries. I like when the student gets their hands in it, rolls their sleeves up, and they see it for themselves. You can't replace that. I can make all the best lecture notes and videos and all that business, but when you take it and you just delve into it and say, let me just see what this does. Oh, wow. Right. That moment of astonishment, you will have an anchor point in your development. You'll always be able to go back to and relive when you journal it. And it's going to be that big milestone, that mile marker that leads to greater understanding.
With more faith and more trust in understanding your own superpower, which are these concepts, and your ability to manage yourself within these concepts, how these concepts work in your hands. Because we are here, ladies and gentlemen, to tell you it works. Clearly, we're putting down the receipts every day. If you haven't watched Michael's live streams, if you haven't been watching his channel, if you haven't been watching the wizardry, then you're missing out. So, and as a community, we're here. Okay, Babar, I see you. I see some folks here wanting to come in. Babar came in nice with a previous conversation. We'll bring him back in. Jim Brown, bringing a couple folks in. Another round within the conversation. Sarmad, Rehab. Thank you, gents. Babar,
One,
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Who was coming in?
I am sorry to interrupt, but there's one more thing I have been looking for today. So what I did was I took the octant and divided it into half. So I
Oh,
have
yeah, the
16 levels,
16th. Yeah.
but I've been trying to use this where the gap is really large. So not for a really 50 handle run, but if there is a really large difference between two levels, I have tried using the 16s and the results are astonishing. But I have to do a topical study on that, and we'll talk more about these things on, I hope, Monday.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, the bigger the range, I mean, the more it kind of makes sense, in my opinion. But Babar, you're up next, buddy. Welcome back to Trader Roundup, Babar.
I thank you for taking me into the call. First of all, thanks to the Michael. He gave me on that day the suggestion that to stay away from the trade and work 8 weeks for tape reading. That is excellent.
Yeah, Babar,
feeling,
you were just a reminder for the folks listening, you were on one of the previous Trader Roundups.
Yeah.
And remind the audience what was tell us a little bit more about yourself. How do you engage with price? Just quickly. And where you're from.
So I'm actually engaging with the price at marking 12 a.m.
Okay.
And then 8:30 opening, model 2022, first presented fair value gap and opening range gap. Okay, and then marking event horizon between the big wicks, okay, and the liquidities, which this previous friend he just speaking about. I have worked on it from last 3 months. It was excellent. This event horizon and octane.
I love it.
When
I love
Michael
it. So
when Michael introduced octant, wallahi, it is amazing. So I usually marking in every quadrant levels if it is big, I'm marking in between event horizon. It means quadrant within the quadrant. So the market perfectly and respecting to the tick which each quadrant and moving from one quadrant to another, even though today as well. So I marked 12 a.m. opening. From 12 a.m. From 12 a.m. opening to after that, there is a low of the day, and then project the standard deviation. So it was perfectly delivered today as well. So each level they are respecting excellent. So and then I feel honestly very relaxed with the tape reading, with enjoying all these levels, marking and just seeing how the market reacting to the each level.
I love that, buddy. I love that. You wanted to come in and add how happy you are with what you're seeing. Yeah?
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. I'm very happy with that. I'm relaxed. And now learning is on the top. Thank you.
Good job, Babar. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you coming in and staying on topic. La Riqueza.
Hello, guys.
How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. My name is Paul. I'm 28 years old and I'm from Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah, so
You've been on
mine
before,
is
right, Paul?
no. I just texted you a
Okay,
while
yeah.
ago. I
So
was asking.
we've spoken through DMs. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So what's up, Paul?
So first is to thank you guys for making this space happen, because this is it's a great space where traders can interact and learn from each other. So the second thing is to ask my question. So apparently the question I was asking is, I've been trading, not trading, I've been backtesting and testing my model since last year, April. That's when I started learning ICT. And then apparently, so it was working and I was having a win rate of, let's say, 90% after trading and analyzing my data. So then I started trading in a funded account, which is the challenge. So I noticed that the current data or the current market at the moment is not working with my model. So what I did is I started adding a few things. For instance, I've been using the premium weeks and also I've been using premium weeks and high time frame PDRAs, and at the same time, I've been using the consolidation ranges to mark the market where it's going and where it's getting. So apparently, the question is if using the current data with the environment is great to test my models, because at the moment I'm back at it. I'm back at testing a model.
I think that's a good question. I think Michael's answered that pretty clearly. He's in uncharted territory as well. And in some regards, we are in new market conditions, right? Within what we're dealing with. I'll let Michael answer it, but that's pretty much been what he's been saying, Paul. Is that jumping back in the lab and testing your models in these market conditions is a good idea. So you're doing, I would say, the correct thing. And your question almost doesn't, it really isn't a question, is it, right, mate? Because I mean, you're doing what we should be doing, kind of, right?
Yeah. So the other thing is that, will this affect, maybe when the market resume to normal, make me, because this is my first model. This is my first model that I'm trying to test.
Okay. So Paul, I'm not sure I understand your question, but it sounds something like, is the algorithm going to change?
No, not about the algorithm,
Okay.
but
Well, what's your question then, mate?
So for instance, I was testing my model when the market was a bit calm, or when the market was there was no such manipulation in many instances like it is at the moment.
Okay.
And the model was working. I was using Turtle Soup at the moment. So apparently I've been using the open range and using also the fast fair value gap, and now intertwine it with the Turtle Soup. So if there's no Turtle Soup and everything, but I've been seeing the market has been wavy. For instance, yesterday I had asked you a question also. I've been testing the model on Euro USD pair, and apparently I noticed that the first fair value gap that worked with my narrative was formed with a candle at 659. You remember that?
Yeah, and you remember what my response was? How?
Yeah. Yeah. You told me that for that reason I can use it as a fair value, as the first fair value gap, as long as it aligns with my narrative.
Okay. Paul, do you have anything to ask? Because otherwise, I'm just gonna. Do you have anything to add, Paul?
I guess the market kind of confused me.
The market confused you, and I'm gonna ask. Do you? Do you have a question?
I guess I've asked everything I needed to.
All right, so we're going to say that's no, Paul. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Time is limited. So we're at 12:30, Michael.
Let me make a brief closing statement.
Yes, sir.
And then we can go on our ways. What I was listening to, it sounded like very close to the sentiment of what I get in emails a lot, and they pretty much echo the sentiment of, am I wasting my time trying to learn this stuff? Should I change models? Should we do anything different than what you suggested? And I'm literally doing the things that I tell you all to do, and I'm collecting information. I'm trying to see, do my models hold up? I have models right now that in other market climates, I would be killing it with it. Just following the logic of that independent model. I have others that would literally not be making any money right now. Now, when I say this, you think, well, that's proof right there they're changing the algorithm. No, it just means that all models, your model, isn't going to fire off every single instance that somebody else's model is doing it, and vice versa. I have students that are taking trades right now that I wouldn't have taken, and they're making money. But I can see the logic they use doing it. And what trap starts to present itself is you thinking that you have to change something, that you have to now augment what it is that you're trying to pursue, versus simply saying your model's not perfect. You're not the perfect trader. You're not going to be flawless. You're going to have periods where your model just simply doesn't talk, doesn't tell you to do something. Or you'll follow it, and guess what's going to happen? You'll probably have a losing trade. Does that mean the model sucks? No, it just means that your model isn't doing well at this current instance. That's it. And because of all the uncertainty, all the things that you hear me talk about, you hear other people now being honest and talking about it, the stuff that's going on over the other side of the world is affecting these markets.
I think we lost you. Pit Munch, can you hear? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt. Maybe
I can hear you, but I don't hear Michael.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that to the attention, not trying to interrupt anybody. I can't hear Michael, so. Mute the mic maybe issue? I don't know. Okay. We'll see if he comes back. Power down, power up. One more time. We're in closing statements. X is undefeated, so we know that. It is what it is. 12:33. I see you, Jim, waving. We're going to be wrapping it up here. See if Michael loops back into this just somehow with whatever the connections are. And if not, that's fine too. We're going to be back at 3. I'll tell you that. Trader Roundup will be at 3. I'll be back, and we'll go over. We'll just have a regular kind of, 3 o'clock. It's Friday, yeah, kind of conversation. Let some people up and just kind of see how the week was. But we'll leave and come back. Oh, I'm waiting to see. Waiting to see here, Market Oracle. X is undefeated. I understand it. Things happen. But 12:33, I like the time. We're going to leave it here, and we'll be back. So, Jim Brown, if you requested to speak, pretty please, feel free. Going to go grab some lunch. Going to let this market be what this market is. I suggest you touch some grass, get some sun in your face, relax, and we'll come back a little later and see how your week was and go from there. So, unfortunately, Michael, X is undefeated. So it is what it is, was what it was, and we'll leave it there. So thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on the flip side. Peace.
Thanks.